Steve, I mean, cryptocurrency. It seems to me that there's kind of a buzz around cryptocurrency.
Yeah, there's a lot of cryptocurrency out there, and I think there's a confusion on it.
Big time, big time.
And so in this video, you're going to see us simplify and demystify what cryptocurrency is.
We're going to take the fog away, people.
Yep, so continue watching. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve, how are you doing?
I am unbelievable.
You know, we are in something that we, again, have not done except in this series that we're doing. We're in part 3 of a 3-part series.
That's right. Yep.
And first and foremost, hello.
That's where I was going to go.
Subscribe.
So thank you for finding us, and thank you for watching part 3 of our... What is this? So it's
fourth industrial revolution.
Fourth industrial revolution. So we've covered blockchain.
We've covered the fourth. We've covered the 4 industrial revolutions. Right. That was our first one.
And
1, 2, 3, and 4.
And the 4th industrial revolution is blockchain.
Blockchain, and that was our last.
The last recording, part 2, was about blockchain and kind of simplifying that in a form so that people can walk away and get a basic understanding of how it will change how we interact with different aspects of our lives. And today we're going to cover cryptocurrency.
Yes, and how confusing cryptocurrency actually is. Just like a strawberryta. I mean, that's confusing. What the hell is a strawberryta, Steve?
I don't know, but we're going to try it.
Well,
while you're pouring that, again, thanks for hitting play. You found the Steve and Steve Show. I'm Steve Walsh, and this is
Steve Wastenberg.
And please hit that subscribe button.
Tell your friends and family. Honestly, this one, we haven't done a series before, and this is really kind of exciting. I think you're going to really like it. I think you're going to like it as much as we're going to like this strawberryta.
I'm going to try it.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Okay. No.
Wow. I don't even know how to explain that.
Well, let's try to explain cryptocurrency instead. All right. Let's go. You can start, Steve.
Okay, so in Steve here, Steve, and I have been discussing cryptocurrency and blockchain for a couple years now. And to me, it's been very confusing because there's this term called cryptocurrency. And when you open up the exchange apps that have all these cryptocurrencies listed, there's Bitcoin, Chainlink,
Ethereum, thousands.
There's
Litecoin.
Yeah, and they come up with new names, and there's always, every time I go in there's like 2 new ones.
There's literally about 4,500 right now, and you're right, there are probably going to be a bunch more.
Yeah, so let's start with the one that most people have heard of, and that's Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of Bitcoin, I imagine a coin, right? And that coin is a digital coin, and it's floating around the internet when people trade it. Is that right?
Well, it's an imaginary, it's a mathematical formula that is, yes, floating around in the sense of interacting with various different people. In Bitcoin, we actually did one series on Bitcoin way back when, I think.
Yep.
But in Bitcoin there's really, what it is, it has only 21 million total coins, digital coins like Steve is saying, that will ever be in existence, okay? So what does that mean? It means that it is a limited amount. Very much kind of like gold is, a little different in that gold, there's only so much gold in the world until we mine some more of it, but there is a limited amount of gold.
Or we find that asteroid that has it.
Or we find the asteroid that does it. But let's before that. So what that does is it gives value to that because there's a limited supply. And if there is a demand for it, the value goes.
Bitcoin follows similar to what gold, silver, and others of being a
store of value,
a true definition of money, and that was what we talked about was our money definition. So we do have a video out there about money,
right? And we'll link to that in the.
So Bitcoin has that. So Bitcoin is truly a digital currency.
Yeah, in fact, it's the true, if we use the term digital currency, it would be the true one.
Okay.
And it is the blockchain. It's the original blockchain.
Okay.
So that's where blockchain really came from, is the Bitcoin blockchain.
Right.
And Bitcoin is really considered currency, whereas there are other tokens that are different.
Yeah, so let's talk about, you just touched base on blockchain. So if you're confused on blockchain versus currency, go watch part 2. We talk about blockchain.
Yep.
But the Bitcoin, so there are other currencies out there, right?
Yes, there are.
But when I go to my list of in my cryptocurrency exchange app, there's all those other ones, and you gave me some advice, and I got into one of the other ones. And I want to take one of those that we have, and it's called Chainlink.
Well, actually, I think before Chainlink, we should do Ethereum.
Okay, let's go.
Ethereum would be the next one.
Ethereum. So help me understand what the difference between Bitcoin, which is the currency, and Ethereum.
Ethereum, right. So Ethereum came about in about 2017,
that totally sounded like something that was created back in 19 something.
Yeah, no, it's really, it was there was a gentleman, really a really smart guy. He's still around. I'm sorry, it's not just a gentleman. His name is Vitalik Buterin.
And was he born in the 1900s?
Oh no, actually he's quite young. I'm going to get it wrong. He's probably in his 40s right now.
So he had been born in the 1900s.
Okay, yes.
Way back then.
So Ethereum, unlike Bitcoin, which Bitcoin was meant to be digital cash. I think digital cash, Steve, is probably better than digital currency. When we think of cash, we think of dollar bills. You and I can trade cash, and hold with me for a second here. You and I can trade cash back and forth anonymously. I give you $5 and you walk away and you give me whatever I bought from you for $5, right? Bitcoin was designed to be, in fact, the white paper actually says this, digital cash, and that you and I can do that without trading that paper note that you and I know is a promissory note. We can actually trade it via the transport layer of the internet to do this transaction. So it's a great means of transferring something for value that you and I agree on getting.
Right.
Okay.
Without having to barter my chickens for your.
That's exactly right. Right. And it is currency. Right. All right. Ethereum, on the other hand, came about. It's a blockchain as well. And it is what we call a smart contract. There's so many definitions out there of what a smart contract is. So we're not going to burden you with the idea of a smart contract in all of its facets. But think of this. Remember, in the last one, we talked about a blockchain being decentralized, not controlled by a central authority. Smart contracts are, if you will, agreements of how transactions work on a decentralized network. Okay. So that facilitates a whole array of things well beyond, say, simply currency transactions or currency exchange. It can do all kinds of things that add to this. In fact, you get a whole bunch of applications that come out of it. So, for example, right now we have a centralized exchange called the New York Stock Exchange, right?
Yep.
Well, on the Ethereum network, we have what are called DEXs, or decentralized exchanges. Similar to what the New York Stock Exchange is, but there's no central authority to it. All right? Same thing if we are going to finance. Right now we have finance in the world of banks, central banks, mortgage companies, anybody having to do with insurance, anything having to do with finance, that are all centrally controlled by some entity or another. Okay. On the Ethereum network, via these smart contracts, we have what's called decentralized finance, or DeFi. And so that in there. Again, part of this is about the blockchain. It'd be good to hear the prior one to understand that difference between centralized and decentralized, right? And finally, I want to just go to something where everybody knows what an application is on their phone, let's say. You have a Facebook application. You have a Twitter application, right?
Yep.
And those things...
Go to the App Store to get your apps.
You go to the App Store to get your apps, which are centralized. Facebook is controlling it. On the Ethereum network, under this smart contract concept, you have a decentralized application, or many decentralized applications, which are dApps, okay? So that's kind of how Ethereum works.
Okay.
And Ethereum is also, like Bitcoin, a token that you can invest in, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, so we'll do the investment part last.
And then,
but we have we have the Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Ethereum, yep.
And then you mentioned a whole bunch of other concepts with Ethereum.
Right, because it is smart contracts. Unlike that,
right,
kind of limited idea of Bitcoin, it is smart contracts, which create a whole slew of other things.
Right.
Which are going to really tie into the next one.
Okay. So the next one. So this is confusing, folks. So
no, it's
taken
very
me
clear.
months to really understand this, and lots of arguments with Steve here. For him,
I never argue. He argues.
For him to get it through my thick skull of what these concepts are, and it has to do with a lot of we do a lot of analogies to kind of pull that together.
Right.
Which I find is interesting because I think some of the analogies we have are based on past, but if we think about, if we go back to the Industrial Revolution, we talked about the combustible engine.
Right.
And then I jumped to the jet, right?
Yeah.
When we had the combustible engine, no one at that time could imagine a jet engine.
Right. No, you're right.
So we're kind of at that combustible engine stage with Bitcoin, blockchain, this industrial revolution that we're going through. We can't imagine.
No, you're right.
What is ahead of us? But it definitely is a change in how we transact.
It's massive, and I think we said it in the last one. People have said that the fourth industrial revolution, which is what we're talking about here, will be bigger than the internet and the information age on this. Now, I was going to just say the third one is Chainlink, and I think you had a great analogy of how we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and how Chainlink fits into this blockchain world.
Right.
Would you give that analogy?
So that's where I wanted to go with Chainlink, is because they're all thrown into this term cryptocurrency.
Right.
And it's
just goofy, people, but
yeah, because it's not the Chainlink is not a currency.
It's a utility token.
Right, a utility token. What the heck is that? Right.
Well,
let me try to
please give your analogy.
So the analogy that I came up with is, think about the Colorado River.
Yeah,
big river, right?
It's fun. I haven't rafted on it, but I got lots of family that raft down that baby for 2 weeks. It's beautiful.
In the lower part where it's more calm.
No, they do the whole thing 2 weeks, starting at the and it's crazy.
It's trust me, they didn't go all the way down to Yuma.
Well, no,
2
they
weeks.
Probably didn't go all the way down.
Because
they stop at the Grand Canyon.
In the rafting, they would get very bored.
Yeah, they stop at the Grand Canyon.
But I've canoed from Blythe down to Yuma.
Really?
Yeah, that's a fun trip.
Wow.
Anyway,
that might be another one.
So, where were we?
You were talking about the river.
Colorado River. It's a big river, and there's a lot of people that have water rights. And I say people, I mean like companies and states, and just a lot of people that have interest in the water rights to that river. Today, there's a lot of like lawsuits and battles, and the value to have water rights to the Colorado River is huge.
Right.
Right? And so Chainlink...
Wait. In the 1800s? How about...
Oh, yeah. So in the 1800s...
I have water rights
Who was around the 1800s?
I mean, ranchers.
Yeah, cowboys, explorers, right?
And
people that were just trying to become better. So you came out, you looked around, and you probably didn't see anybody for days when you came across the Colorado River.
But you grabbed a piece of the river, right?
You got
your rights.
and you got rights to the river. You could pull out water from there. Right?
Was it worth much?
Probably not then.
No.
They probably didn't really care about who was coming around, who took a bath in the river.
Right.
So that's...
Generations later, though.
Yeah, so when we look at Chainlink, and you said it's what did you call it?
A utility token.
Utility token. So if you think about transactions on
The blockchain.
but like in the world, right? All the transactions that occur, even if, the transaction to either make this, deliver it, for us to get it into your house. There was a lot of transactions that occurred just in this bottle itself. So you think about that in blockchain, all the transactions that are going on blockchain. And Chainlink is one little piece of that, the blockchain concept, right? But if we look at it from a river standpoint, with the river being all the transactions go crossing the river, and if I have land that has water rights to that river, I can pull out from the river, from the water, right? But the actual rights to that river for that whatever segment of water I can pull out is valued today. But back in 1800s, probably not so valued.
And it is way more valuable than the water you're pulling out.
Right.
Because lots of people are interested in your right to that piece of that.
Yep. And so that Chainlink, when you get one Chainlink, when you actually purchase that one Chainlink, today it doesn't seem like it's worth a whole lot, but it's that right into the blockchain transaction.
Yeah, so let me, if I can, let me expand on it a little bit, because you're absolutely right. The value of that Chainlink token, because remember, all three of these that we spoke of and the thousands of others that Steve mentioned in the beginning have value to them. And their value is directly proportional to what they contribute to the functioning, let's say, of that blockchain and the desirability of their function, right? And if they're more desired, their value raises in price. And so there is an investment component to these. And you've described very well why Chainlink is important, because it's kind of like you're staking, remember that term down the road, rights to this whole blockchain world. What Chainlink really does in a nutshell as a utility token is it kind of is like the, I would say the best thing is like almost like a switching station for our current third industrial revolution, the information age, which we talked about in the last one, are all these databases, so that these databases can participate with these centralized databases can participate with the decentralized blockchain. They do it via Chainlink, of something called an oracle. And that oracle helps them communicate back and forth. It also helps communicate between differentiated blockchains out there. I'm not going to go into the depths of that,
but there's a lot of analogies that can be done, right, on the different components of the cryptocurrencies, which makes up the bigger picture of blockchain.
Right.
Because you talked about utility tokens. So think about all the utilities we have today that we use, right? So we do have water coming into our house, so that process of getting water to us, there's all that infrastructure utility.
All that.
Chainlink
can be the connection of all that infrastructure to the blockchain.
Right. And we have natural gas coming to the house, right?
All energy.
So that's a utility.
Chainlink
that's all utility type
exactly
stuff.
Right.
So
we have the ability to all of these different financial institutions to communicate with this other. Chainlink is another oracle for that.
So there's other token type utility tokens and other type components that make up blockchain that people can invest in.
Right.
And so it's the investment that you're when people say they're into cryptocurrency and they say they're into a specific a specific currency, whatever if it's Chainlink or what's another one?
Well, I mean, there's Litecoin.
Well, is Litecoin a
Ripple
currency, or is it a?
Litecoin would be more like Bitcoin would be.
Okay.
But Ripple would be more like XRP, or Ripple would be closer to a connector to the financial system, let's say. But it's not decentralized. It's centralized.
Okay, but so there's these other components.
More of a digital currency.
So there's the other components in there. But it's the investment. Like, so if you were to invest in like GE when it first started,
yeah,
the value of that stock rises as
That's
the
exactly
people look
right.
at the value. And that's so when you look at people investing in cryptocurrencies and they're getting into these other ones, they're looking at the value that's going to be. And right now, because blockchain is so young, that it's people can afford to get into those and it's an investment, so there can be losses, and there's certainly some stuff that I wouldn't invest.
Well,
a little bit riskier.
Well, let's pull it back though. The reason that we picked these three is they really do describe kind of a bit of a evolution of the early blockchain that's here. I mean, let's say Bitcoin's been around for almost 12 years now, right at 12 years, and it was the original blockchain here. And these other ones really came about in 2017, these two other ones that I talked about. And so this is so young, but these three are really, really important in all of this. I don't even want to talk about the thousands of others in terms of investment. If I were going to say to you, hey, let's look at some of that, I personally am very invested in those three that we mentioned, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. And Chainlink especially because Chainlink right now, as we're recording this, is just under $13 a token. And imagine if, to Steve's analogy, which I really like, that you have the water rights to the Colorado River in 1860, and fast forward to the year 2000 when California and Arizona really want that water, and they got to come to you to get some of that water rights. Well, the value of your water rights go through the roof. If you have Chainlink right now, this is not financial advice, but if you have Chainlink right now, and it is one of the facilitators of this whole new blockchain technology, one of the main facilitators, by the way, of this whole, imagine when the blockchain is really prevalent everywhere, you've got water rights, to use his analogy, to something that is, many people think, way beyond the internet in terms of where it's going. And that value could be really interesting, I think.
So certainly we're not financial advisors. We're not saying
this is not financial advice. It's education.
But we are trying to expose and simplify what cryptocurrency, when people throw out the cryptocurrency, what those really are. And there's different categories, right? You actually have a true currency, and then you have
utility tokens, smart contracts, and a whole bunch of others.
There's definitely a lot out there. So I want to encourage you to, hopefully that the last three videos have helped you understand this a little bit better. But take that extra step, right? Start digging into the blogs, the videos, the books.
Reach out to us, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you go down this road. We're going down it. We can tell you this for sure. Both of us are very invested, both in our information and minds, and we're investing capital in this technology because it's exciting. Right. There's been nothing like this in our lifetime, really.
Right.
There hasn't.
Yep. So
wow.
Very cool. All right, Steve. Well, that was a lot of information that we packed into three parts.
We did. And maybe a strawberryta is good to a lot of people out there. Personally, I could make my own margarita.
So, thanks for watching. Cheers. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you get alert when we produce another video.
And tell your friends, your family, anybody you know about this. Let them know. We're really starting to gain a little bit of critical mass here.
We're getting some momentum.
Yeah, we are. So this is exciting, and we sure cannot thank you enough for being on this. You are the reason we're here.
Yep.
Cheers, people.
Cheers.